being in grad school. I remember being an undergraduate, and it can be really overwhelming. You know, you just, there's so much you don't know yet. And I just want to help instill that confidence, like they're able to do this, and that, and I want to give them those real world experiences.
Hello and welcome to the Test Community Network. My name's Tim Burnett. I hope you're all safe and well. I hope everyone who's had been to New Orleans for the Innovations in Testing 2026 conference has had a fantastic time. No doubt you're probably not watching this live because you'll be on your flights home and probably asleep, some of you. If you've been up all night enjoying the festivities. Well, I hope you've had a great time. For everyone else, welcome. We're going to go a little bit different this time. We're going to rethink assessment. We're doing that with Dr. Erin Leeming, and we're going to be talking about how to escape the exam hall, literally. Erin has been looking at using escape rooms as part of her process for assessment at the end of her course. So we're going to play a clip first, which just shows a bit the assessment in action with some of the students, and then I'll share the interview that I've got with Erin. So here's the clip, just to give you a flavour as to what the experience is like for the students.
Just found the key.
I've created an escape room. The students basically have to figure out clues that they read all in IPA transcription, and they then have to figure out how to escape the room.
Escape rooms are one of my favorite things to do, so this was an amazing way to end this class and a really awesome way to take all the skills that we had learned and actually apply them logically instead of just being tested on what we can remember.
When we are doing assessments in basically articulation and phonology disorders, we transcribe what someone is saying into IPA so that you can see where they are maybe making errors or are speaking in an atypical way.
I really didn't know what to expect coming into the escape room. It was really interactive. I liked working with students and being around classmates that I hadn't spoken to previously before.
When we get to the real world, we're not going to be memorizing something off of a piece of paper. We're going to have to be listening and reading transcriptions and applying the things that we know about phonetics that way.
I think this base level and this baseline of being introduced to it so early on in the career makes it a lot more easier and less daunting. I feel like it's almost like learning a new language.
I was really excited to try this because I feel like you can see everything that we've built up to and everything that I've been teaching throughout the course. This is even more like real world, being able to read somebody else's transcription and figure out what a client said and how they said it, and then be able to figure out what they need to do next.
We got out. We were the second fastest team, so I'll take it. I like to win, but I'll take second place.
To me, you well?
Yes, how are you?
I'm good. You're in sunny Florida, or slightly chilly Florida, I think, aren't you, at the moment?
Yes, chilly Florida right now, but usually sunny.
So for people that don't know you, do you want to introduce yourself and the work that you do?
Sure. So my name is Dr. Erin Leeming. I currently work for the University of Central Florida as a lecturer, and I am a speech language pathologist by trade.
Wow. So what is a speech language pathologist? Can you just expand on that one for me?
Sure. So a speech language pathologist is somebody who helps people with communication disorders or even disruptions. So me personally, I worked in schools. So specifically, I worked third grade through high school with students who had difficulty with communicating with others in different ways.
Right. Okay. So super important stuff. And I saw a post on LinkedIn. You'd done an escape room as an assessment experience. It looked amazing. Do you want to just tell us a bit about what it is you did?
Yeah, it was really fun. So I just happened to be having a conversation with a colleague, and I was like, it's so fun to do different types of puzzles and stuff. Like everybody's really into that right now. And taking IPA, which is the class that I teach, is basic phonetics. It's kind of like learning a new language, and it was just a really great place to input some of this gamification activity. And I thought that it would be such a great way to see not only like testing wise what they have learned throughout the semester and what they can apply, but also just seeing like how is their collaboration and how are they able to kind of work together to solve stuff like this.
Wow. And so in the space there was it was a walled space, wasn't it, with projectors projecting graphics down.
Yes.
And the learners were they working in teams or working individually? What were they doing? Was it the intention to solve the puzzle to escape the room? Was it that kind of?
Yes. Yep. So same thing as if you've done a regular escape room, you have to work together in a team to solve different small puzzles to kind of escape the room. So that was the layout of this too. They had to work together in a team that they got to choose. Some of them knew each other and some of them did not. And they had to work together to, figure out little puzzles to move on to the next puzzle and then to eventually escape the room.
Excellent. What made you go down this route then? Why did you take this approach?
So honestly, I have ADHD, and I know some of my students also have different learning differences. And then also there's, all of this test anxiety that happens for some people. And I was trying to create sort of like a safe space for people to show what they know in a different way. Now we still had like an exam like 2 weeks before this, but this was during like our finals time. So people already had a lot of stress happening, and I wanted to create, like kind of a safer space for them to like not have to feel so much stress and anxiety over showing me what they've learned over the semester.
And how did it compare for them with the kind of the exam? Was that a multiple choice exam that they'd done, or was it an essay, or was it an oral? What was the previous exam that they'd done?
So it was a little bit of, it was kind of a combination of some things. So there was multiple choice, there was true, false, there was like short answer, there were no essays, but they had to transcribe the IPA, like they actually had to change it over. And then they also had to do their own writing using IPA. So it was definitely a different approach than what the escape room was, because the escape room was a lot of them reading the IPA and figuring out what it said in English and then having to figure out those clues from that.
And so as for the students then, how did they compare those two exam experiences? Was there anyone who was saying, I wish this had been the final exam, or I wish this had been the main assessment method? Was there any of that preference?
Yeah, I mean, they all really loved it. I took feedback, like I did a survey and then had them answer some questions afterwards. And they all loved this approach. Everybody felt like I had a lot of people saying that they didn't realize how much they knew until they experienced this way, and they were like, oh, I actually know what I'm doing. Whereas on the exam, they felt like they were more like flustered already because it's an exam. You have that pressure already. And like, yes, the escape room was an exam, but there was no like pressure behind it built up. I feel like we as human beings, we just hear this word exam and we're like, oh gosh, it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
And there was none of that pressure. There was none of that stigma put on this escape room final.
And do you think they treated it any more differently? Did they kind of treat it was less high stakes for them, and it possibly wasn't? Okay, and was that a good thing or a bad thing, do you think?
I think that they all still like studied, especially because I paired it with an exam 2 weeks before. Like they were ready, and we did activities to like build them up to this. So I don't know that it was a bad thing that they took it as like less pressure. I feel like it was easier for them to come in and feel confident because they felt like it was like not as high of stakes, even though it really kind of was.
Do you think you'd ever replace out the exam with a sole route going down this route of an escape room? Would you feel confident doing that?
I think I would have to change some things. The way I have it right now, like I said, it's really just like reading the IPA and figuring out what it says in English. Well, a lot of what we do in speech language pathology is kind of the opposite. We're listening to somebody speak and we're writing in IPA. So I would definitely have to change out some of those components, but I could see myself doing that in the future.
Yeah, but I suppose one of the challenges we always face with these things is if you've got students who are working in a group as a collaboration, that's quite hard to assess because you've got to try and split out, haven't you, their input in that process. It's not a bad thing because that's how we work, isn't it? And that's how we work as a team. You know, you work in your department, but yeah, that makes the challenge for assessment quite a step up. And how much time did it take to set this up? How long did it take to build this space?
It took probably about 2 to 3 months. What happened was I worked with a team kind of on the back end. I had this idea. I went to them and I was like, hey, I have this really cool idea for this space. They work in this space all the time. So they were kind of able to show me how we could make it work. And then they helped me build it up. So I kind of like wrote the script and they kind of like built it up for me and then put it into this space. And then we all tried it out together. So it was a really great collaboration effort on that end too. I definitely could not have made it come to life without them. But all in all, it took us about probably 2.5 months to like get all of our pieces together.
And how many hours approximately is that over that period? Is it just approximately?
I would say maybe like 10, 15 hours, I would say on my side.
And how's that comparable to the exam that you set? Did you think you spent more time on the escape room than the exam, or was it about the same?
I feel like it was pretty comparable. If you're like building out an exam and you're kind of we have to build it out in our Canvas, so like online. So that takes a lot of time too. I might have spent a little bit longer on this, but nothing that was like crazy.
And I suppose you've got a template now, though, haven't you, for future models? So it shouldn't take as long to do it. And was it adapt? Did it change? Did the journey? Was it very linear? Was it a quite dynamic journey? Could the student have taken it in different ways and routes on the path?
So no, the way we did it was one way. So we had it set up, that they would have to follow the steps kind of in order, even though they didn't know that's what was happening. Since it was interactive, they're like tapping all over the walls to find different clues and stuff, but they really couldn't move forward to the next clue until they figured out one clue. I think that, we could make it less linear at some point. We could kind of branch out from that and what that looks like. That's actually a very interesting thought.
And what about the kind of voice interaction with it as well? Because was it just responding by pressing on options on the side? Could there be an opportunity to even speak or for voice interaction with some kind of avatar or something as part of the process? Would that be something that would be possible?
I don't know the capabilities exactly of this system, but that would be really cool if we could have that do that. I would guess that is something that my colleagues could try and figure out how to do.
I'm kind of intrigued. So obviously you've gone on this route of saying, let's change the assessment model. Let's do something different. Let's take something alternative. Have you got any other ideas for any other kind of alternative approaches to assessment? Kind of cooking away.
Yeah. I definitely do have a lot of unique ideas, I think. I think it's the, like I said, I have that ADHD. So I think it's that ADHD in me that's like, ooh, this would be cool. Let's try this, even though, most people wouldn't necessarily think that would be a good fit. So like one of the things that we also have a hologram machine at our school, which is very cool. Yeah. So right now I'm working on, I had my daughter come in and do a video to turn into this hologram so that she's sort of like a patient. And then my students are going to go in and give her a speech language pathology assessment specific to articulation and phonology. And then we're going to come together and kind of write this plan of how can we, assess her, and then what are we going to do after that assessment? How would we treat her after that?
Wow, that sounds incredible. Obviously, some people think, okay, well, you're going to use technology, and it's good to experiment with it. What do you think is going to be the value from using the hologram approach for that? How will that kind of add to the experience?
Yeah, I think it's more of a real feel. I think it gives it more of the clinical side. Like if you're just watching a video of somebody, like sure they're there, whatever, but now you're stepping into like realizing that this is like a real human being that you're helping. And you need to take, you know, their perspective into kind of put that in your mindset and figure out what would they want to do. And I just think it gives it more of a real life feel versus like a clinical, like, I don't know, like it's not as maybe wholesome as like being in the field. I feel like using that hologram is going to kind of make it feel like they're there, like they're actually you know, giving these services, and then they can take that experience when they are giving those services later on in their graduate career.
And is it just in terms of how the hologram works? Do you speak to it and it responds in a particular way, or is it a kind of one-dimensional kind of approach? You listen and you give verbal feedback, but it doesn't necessarily take it on board. How does that work?
So right now, the way it's set up for this first time that I'm doing it, it is more like you're listening to what they're saying. So basically, I administered the assessment with my child, and we took the video. So they're watching this video, and I asked some questions so that they can get gather more like input from her. So it isn't like a full round conversation, but in the future we have that capability to do that as well, to have her come in and do a full, you know, like question and answer, and have it be a little bit more robust.
That sounds ace. And that's the kind of vision, isn't it? The dream that you could have this holographic person in almost there to touch, to have a conversation with. Well, that would be awesome. I think so. Yeah, you've obviously kind of hit upon this idea of let's take assessment in a different direction. What's driving you in that? I know you said about your kind of ADHD, but are you trying to give more value to the learners? What's your kind of one of your kind of priorities?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Giving more value to the learners, helping grow their confidence. I mean, I don't know if you remember being a student, but like I remember being in grad school, I remember being an undergraduate, and it can be really overwhelming. You know, you just, there's so much you don't know yet. And I just want to help instill that confidence, like they're able to do this, and that and I want to give them those real world experiences so that they feel prepared when they go to the real world. And they're like, oh, this is like kind of similar to what I've already done, so I know I can do this.
Yeah, that sounds great. That's awesome. Well, thank you. And I look, please keep me posted on the hologram side of things, the development there, and any other ideas you've got. Because I think it's one of the things we struggle with in the assessment space is we've been doing things in a particular way for the last 100, 200 years, or you can even say back to the kind of the dates of the dynasties in China. And we haven't really evolved it, have we? We haven't changed it. And we've got this technology, amazing technology that's coming along that could do a lot of different things. And I don't know, I assume, are you guys facing the same integrity issues that everyone's facing with AI and cheating in exams? And it's there, isn't it? So we need to think differently, don't we, about how we approach it and make it fun and valuable. So yeah, brilliant.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I'm really interested. So yeah, please keep us posted. But thank you for coming on and telling us about it. And really appreciate it. Keep us posted in the future.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Cheers, Erin. Thank you. Excellent. Thank you for that, Erin. I've actually just been digging out a clip for you from the hologram machine from UCF. I'm just going to play a very quick clip. I'll put the link in the YouTube. But I just love the way that Erin's been kind of exploring new technologies, new methods, trying out new approaches to something. And obviously, Erin's very much got this idea of how can we make this better? How can we give more value back to the learner from the process? How can we make it more real? So I'm just going to play a very quick clip from this. I'm just going to add it to stage 1 second. But you can add that stage, move that. There we go. So let me just play. I'm going to play a very brief clip. This is on their website, so you can actually look at this. But you can see the hologram machine there. Now I've seen those machines have been set up. There's more and more of these machines coming around, so it's really worth checking those out. But anyway, thank you very much for that. Thank you, Erin and the team. Let me just lost my thing. 1 second. Right. Thank you very much to Erin and the team. Thank you very much for letting me share the clips that I shared through today. Thank you for watching today. Sorry, a bit messy at the end there, but I just wanted to share that quick clip, and yeah, everything kind of broke when I did it. Anyway, thank you very much, and I look forward to speaking to you next week. Thank you, and bye-bye.